10 situations where silence is your greatest strength, a Stoic perspective. 1. When you are angry. Anger is a fire that consumes everything in its path. It blinds us, distorts our judgment, and leads us to act in ways we later regret. The Stoics, particularly Seneca, viewed anger as a temporary madness, a loss of reason that must be controlled at all costs. In his work on anger, where Seneca wrote, "The greatest remedy for anger is delay." When you feel anger rising within you, the first and most powerful step you can take is to remain silent. Do not speak. Do not act. Let the storm pass. Silence is the space between stimulus and response, and in that space lies your power to choose. By choosing silence, you reclaim your reason and prevent anger from dictating your actions. Silence is not a sign of weakness. It is a demonstration of strength. It shows that you are in control of yourself, even when the world around you feels chaotic. As Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Silence in this context is the ultimate act of self-mastery. 2. When someone insults you. Insults are like arrows. They only wound you if you let them. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus taught that insults have no power unless you give them power. He said, "If someone speaks ill of you, do not be bothered by it, for it is not your problem, but theirs." When someone insults you, the most powerful response is silence. By refusing to engage, you show that their words cannot touch you. You remain unshaken like a rock in a storm. Silence here is not a sign of defeat. It is a declaration of your inner peace and self-mastery. It communicates that you are above petty conflicts and that your sense of self-worth is not dependent on others' opinions. Marcus Aurelius echoed this idea when he wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." By choosing silence, you rise above the insult and demonstrate your superiority in character. Silence in this situation is a shield that protects your soul from negativity and a mirror that reflects the insecurities of the insulter. 3. When you are tempted to gossip. Gossip is a poison that spreads negativity and destroys trust. It is a waste of time and energy, and it often leads to regret. The Stoics, particularly Marcus Aurelius, warned against engaging in idle talk. He urged us to focus on our own character and actions, rather than wasting time on the affairs of others. Silence in the face of gossip is a mark of integrity. It shows that you value truth and kindness over petty entertainment. By staying silent, you protect your soul from contamination and set an example for others to follow. Gossip often stems from insecurity or boredom, but silence stems from strength and self-discipline. As Epictetus said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." When you are tempted to gossip, remember that silence is not just the absence of words. It is the presence of virtue. It is a way to honor your values and maintain your inner peace. 4. When you are ignorant. There is no shame in admitting that you do not know something. In fact, the Stoics believe that true wisdom begins with the recognition of one's own ignorance. Socrates, though not a Stoic, shared this principle when he said, "The only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing." When you are unsure or uninformed, silence is your ally. Speaking without knowledge is arrogance, and arrogance leads to error. The Stoics valued humility and the pursuit of wisdom above all else. Silence in ignorance is not a failure. It is an opportunity to listen, learn, and grow. It shows that you are open to new ideas and willing to admit your limitations. As Seneca wrote, "The fool with all his other faults has this also. He is always getting ready to live." By choosing silence, you demonstrate that you are ready to learn, ready to grow, and ready to live a life of wisdom and virtue. 5. When someone else is speaking. Listening is a form of silence that demonstrates respect and empathy. It is a way to honor the speaker and gain insight into their thoughts. The Stoics, particularly Zeno of Citium, emphasized the importance of listening to understand rather than to reply. When you listen in silence, you create a space for meaningful connection and understanding. This silence is not passive. It is an active engagement with the world and the people in it. It is a way to show that you value others' perspectives and that you are willing to learn from them. As Epictetus said, nature gave us one tongue but two ears, so we could hear twice as much as we speak. Silence in this context is a gift you give to others and to yourself. It is a way to deepen your relationships, broaden your understanding, and cultivate a sense of empathy and compassion. 6. When you are praised, praise can be intoxicating, but it can also be dangerous. The Stoics warned against the dangers of vanity and pride. When praised, silence is a shield against arrogance. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily that fame and praise are fleeting, writing, "The applause of the multitude is but the clatter of tongues." By remaining silent in the face of praise, you acknowledge that your worth is not determined by others' opinions. You stay grounded in your values and focused on your purpose. Silence here is not a rejection of kindness. It is a recognition that true confidence comes from within. As Seneca advised, let your deeds speak for themselves. By choosing silence, you demonstrate that you are secure in your own worth and that you do not need external validation to feel fulfilled. 7. When you are in pain. Pain, whether physical or emotional, can tempt us to lash out or seek pity. The Stoics taught that suffering is an opportunity to practice endurance and resilience. Silence in pain is not suppression, it is acceptance. It is the recognition that pain is a part of life, and complaining will not diminish it. As Epictetus said, bear and forbear. Silence allows you to endure with dignity and strength. It is a way to show that you are in control of your mind, even when your body or circumstances are beyond your control. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Silence in pain is the ultimate expression of this principle. It is a way to rise above your suffering and find peace in the midst of chaos. 8. When you are tempted to boast. Boasting is a sign of insecurity, a need for external validation. The Stoics believe that true confidence comes from within, from living in accordance with virtue. Silence about your achievements shows that you are secure in your own worth. It demonstrates that you do not need others' approval to feel fulfilled. As Seneca advised, let your deeds speak for themselves. Silence here is a mark of true self-assurance. It is a way to show that you are confident in your abilities and that you do not need to seek validation from others. By choosing silence, you demonstrate that your worth is not determined by your accomplishments, but by your character. 9. When you are in the presence of fools. Engaging with foolish or irrational people often leads to frustration and wasted energy. The Stoics advised us to choose our battles wisely. Silence in the presence of fools is not cowardice. It is wisdom. It is the recognition that some arguments are not worth having, some people are not worth convincing. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." Silence allows you to rise above the noise and maintain your peace. It is a way to show that you are above petty conflicts and that your time and energy are too valuable to waste on meaningless arguments. By choosing silence, you demonstrate that you are in control of your mind and that you will not be dragged down by the foolishness of others. 20. When you are facing death. Death is the ultimate test of a Stoic's resolve. It is the moment when all words fall short and only silence remains. The Stoics viewed death as a natural part of life, something to be accepted with calm and courage. Seneca, facing his own death, wrote, "It is not death that is terrible, but the fear of death." Silence in the face of death is the ultimate expression of acceptance and tranquility. It is the final act of a life lived with virtue and wisdom. As Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, death smiles at us all we can do is smile back. By choosing silence, you demonstrate that you are at peace with the natural order of things and that you have lived a life of purpose and meaning. Conclusion. Silence is not merely the absence of sound. It is a powerful tool for self-mastery, clarity, and peace. The Stoics understood that silence is often the wisest response, a way to protect your mind, preserve your dignity, and align with your highest principles. In a world full of noise, silence is a refuge, a strength, and a virtue. As Epictetus said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." Embrace silence in these 10 situations, and you will find yourself living a life of greater wisdom, resilience, and inner peace. Silence is not just a choice, it is a way of life. It is the path to true freedom and fulfillment.